Thanks, Kevin, and great to be here today. Just paid my acknowledgement to Mr. Perry and any other Indigenous leaders that are in the room. That was a very powerful discussion that we just heard, so it's great to be able to follow up and present the green technology story metal to the greater community here in Thunder Bay. Great conference. It's actually the first time I've attended the Senkan conference, so yeah, and I think it's getting bigger and better every year from what I believe, so great to be here. Firstly, I will acknowledge our Indigenous partners. We are obviously operating and intending to operate on Indigenous land here, and we respect their beliefs and our communities that we're working with, and we hope to make and continue to make strong partnerships as we develop and continue to operate on these lands. So Green Technology Metals, I did found the company in 2021 with a vision to develop a lithium supply chain in Northern Ontario. I think just even following on from the last discussion, there is a huge opportunity here to be part of the electric revolution globally. The mineral endowment that is here in Northern Ontario is some of the best we've seen globally. So I can certainly say that from experience coming from Australia and operating in multiple jurisdictions globally in the battery materials space. So our projects we've strategically selected close to Thunder Bay. We've selected projects that are near and close to infrastructure that don't need huge infrastructure spends to be able to get them into production, and within trucking distance of a central processing hub which could be developed here in Thunder Bay. So since we've incepted the company, we've grown the resource base from about 3 million tonnes to over 25 million tonnes. That's growing currently. We're drilling and expanding that resource. We certainly see sights of doubling that in the next 12 to 18 months on both our projects. The projects themselves, Seymour is the eastern hub, which is just about 60 kilometres north of Armstrong, only 324 kilometres here from Thunder Bay. And our second mining project is the western hub of Root, which is a little bit further, but still accessible and in a great location to develop. We're still looking at first production in 2026, which is still quite a large mountain to climb, but certainly we think that the work we're doing, the team we've built and the partnerships we're creating here will enable us to do that in 2026. We are building an integrated strategy, so it's mines feeding a chemical conversion facility. Producing spodumene and shipping it out of Ontario is not going to be a viable industry into the future. You need to be able to maintain the ability to convert to a lithium chemical here in Thunder Bay or close to the mines to then feed into the ecosystem that has been developed in the battery space throughout Ontario. So as part of that, we have now brought on a very strong strategic partner, a global leader in developing lithium chemicals, EcoPro Innovation. So I'll talk a bit about that through the presentation as well. One of our other partners we have is LG Energy Solutions. They do feature quite heavily in Ontario as well. They're building a large battery facility down near Windsor. And so part of us bringing our strategy to Northern Ontario is partnering with some of the world's leaders in the downstream, midstream and downstream part of the electric vehicle revolution. So just expanding on that, Ontario, you guys have got the best place and the best ecosystem to develop projects in the world in this space. There is no other jurisdiction that has this much investment in the midstream and downstream to be able to take a raw material to potentially a chemical, then into a cell and then into an EV. It's unparalleled. There is nowhere else. I'm from Western Australia, where we basically produce concentrates. We're trying to produce chemicals, but then it gets shipped overseas. There is no manufacturing ability in Western Australia to go to the midstream to manufacture cells and be part of that supply chain. So the government's investment they've made here over the last probably 5 to 8 years is second to none, and it certainly makes it one of the most attractive jurisdictions to be able to develop any supply chain in the world. So the GT1 strategy, we developed the Seymour project. We have a modest sized project there, which is a starter. It's a low hurdle into production for us. We don't want to complicate, we don't grow too big too quickly. It's certainly a doable project, something that I've been involved with multiple projects similar to this in a global sense over the last 10 to 15 years. We'll then look at building a lithium chemical conversion facility here in Thunder Bay. It's certainly a new industry that can develop and can expand with a world-class leader, which is EcoPro. And then we will be looking to develop the Root project, which is further to the west and has a much larger resource and will underpin chemical conversion for 20 to 25 years into the future. Here's just a little bit about the strategic partnership. We have recently agreed a strategic partnership with EcoPro. They are one of the world's leaders in developing a battery battery materials for the EV space. They're probably the world leader in actually developing not only lithium hydroxide but also nickel sulfate precursor and cathode active material, and specialise in that chemical production. So here's some pictures here in Korea, and then also in Thunder Bay at our office, at Norbin's office here in Thunder Bay. They are a large company, about $14 billion market cap. They're expanding their global operations. They're actually currently building about $1 billion facility of cathode active material in Hungary, but also they're building in Canada. They're actually building a cathode active material facility in Bécancour in partnership with Ford and SK On. So they're well known to North America, and they have a clear strategy of being a partner here for many, many years to come. Just a little bit about the investment structure. They have made an investment at the corporate level, but then we are also looking at potential asset level investment on the mines and then into a joint venture to develop a chemical conversion facility. That will help us fund our mining development, and so we will not be too reliant on government funding or on shareholders to be part of that. We will sell down the asset some of the asset to them. But more importantly, I think what it does is it gives an integrated supply solution. So the chemicals and the mines themselves will be integrated, and there will be transfer pricing between each, and there will be the opportunity to keep both of them in production going into the future. So a little bit about Seymour. There's a couple of photos there of us up on site drilling not too long ago. We have an offtake agreement in place with LG Energy Solutions. We've released a PEA last year. We have mining lease granted over the first construction area. We do have a small funding application in to upgrade the road there for our First Nations partners as well into the community in north of Armstrong. And we're continuing to doing field exploration at our Junior Lake project, which is to the east. So this year we're very busy. We will be drilling potentially at Junior very soon. We'll be optimising the PEA that we've released with some new economics. Given the current pricing, I think, of the commodity in our industry, it certainly changes the way you look at the future and the future commodity pricing and how we actually develop projects in this area. Permitting and approvals is certainly a huge part of our drive at the moment, and we're progressing there, which will culminate in the release of a DFS and financial investment decision, potentially next year. I mean, for us to be in production in 26, we do want to be breaking ground, and hopefully with agreement with our First Nations partners and our permitting timeline in concurrency, we will be able to do that next year. So we are looking at expanding our resource in the area too. We've acquired a project to the east, which is the Junior project. Very prospective area. I mean, this area, as I said before, it's extremely well endowed with minerals, and specifically spodumene. There's some of the best and coarsest and highest grade spodumene that I've certainly seen in a global sense. Amazing area, and certainly if it is, I think, developed in the right way and economically and sustainably, it can be a huge future for the region as well. We will be using very, very environmentally friendly processing at Seymour. It's a gravity process, no chemicals. We've ensured that our environmental footprint is extremely low and has a very low impact on the surrounding area and community. We capture all the water. We have zero discharge, and we've specifically done this to ensure that we're protecting the community around and any habitats, and I think anything that's sensitive in the surrounding areas as well. So very simple process, no chemicals. It basically is quarry washing, very, very simple, which will produce a concentrate, a 6%, 5.5 to 6% concentrate, which we will then potentially sell into the market overseas until we have chemical conversion here in Thunder Bay. So the Eastern Hub indicative timeline there, I won't go into too much detail, but certainly DFS and financial investment decision we're aiming for next year. And potential production in 2026. A little bit about the conversion facility we're planning. We did study a site here in Thunder Bay down at Shipyards, the old Cascades Mill area. Very suitable site. There are multiple sites that are suitable here in Thunder Bay, and we will be studying further sites as we progress through a PFS, which we've already kicked off with our partner EcoPro. But what it will do is it will create a new industry in Thunder Bay of chemical manufacturing and conversion. At full workforce here, we'd probably be talking about 200 people in the facility itself. and probably up to maybe 500 to 600 for a 2-year period in the construction phase. So these lithium conversion plants, they're not simple. They are extremely complex plants. There's about 6 of them getting built in Western Australia at the moment, which will be actually the biggest area outside of China that actually has a lithium chemical conversion in it. And some of the world's leading companies are having a lot of issues. So that's why we bring some of the world's best technology and people that actually produce these chemicals to partner with us to bring here to ensure that we're de-risking a development in Thunder Bay, to ensure it works for not only the community and the area, but also the whole supply chain itself. So that's something that it may look like that. We do have room for 2 trains on the block, and certainly if that is the block that's selected, it would suit it quite nicely. As far as the actual conversion process that we use, we are working with, as I said, a world leader in conversion technology. They've been producing lithium chemicals for probably about 18 years now. They're one of the fastest growing companies in the world 2-3 years ago. And their knowledge on producing lithium chemicals is probably second to not very many in the world. They do have quite a sensible, environmentally sensitive, or it's environmentally sound processing technology that we're working on that with them, where they recycle a lot of the waste, the sodium sulphate, which is one of the waste products, which is basically like a clothes washing powder, but we're certainly looking at recycling that. And actually, the wastewater treatment that the EcoPro process also covers off on is world leading as well, to ensure that any effluents that needs to be disposed of and any waste is reduced to the environment. So, in all sense, quite a very environmentally sound process. One of the things that we do bring to the table is that green technology. We've been involved, and the team involved that I've created and been involved with in multiple lithium developments globally. Probably no less than 20 different lithium spodumene processing facilities, North America, South America, Europe, and mostly Australia as well. So a lot of experience that we're bringing to the table. And now partnering with a world leader in the chemical, I mean, it's a very strong partnership. And that will de-risk any potential issues that we will have going down the track. We are obviously looking for potential government funding on the chemical conversion facility to establish the supply chain in Ontario that will be around for the next 20 to 30 years. So we think it's a very strong partnership that puts us in front of probably a lot of competitors. The conversion facility timeline, we've already kicked off on a PFS. That will be completed by mid next year. I mean, our partner does all the testing in-house. They have 120 engineering staff. We don't have to go to too many external parties. This is all an internal process. They develop and pilot their chemicals to their own specifications, which they've been selling to some of the biggest battery suppliers for the last 10 to 15 years. So we'll complete a DFS with financial investment decision in 2026 is what we're aiming for. Construction's a couple of years. These are not small facilities. I mean, the total development capex between the mines, 2 mines, and I guess the chemical conversion facility is about $1.7 billion Canadian over a 6 or 7 year period. So it's a serious investment, and there is a lot of work to get that happening, with potential production at nameplate capacity around 2029. The Western Hub, this is really exciting for us. This will underpin a lot of our resource extension into the future. This area, the Root Bay area, it's highly prospective. We're drilling there right now. We're intersecting more spodumene at depth. We know that this resource will grow to at least sort of 30 to 35 million tonnes in the near future, and we haven't even touched the surface. We've only been up there probably about 12, 18 months. I mean, this could be a 50 to 60 million tonne deposit in the area itself. The topographical ridges that are there are quite significant. There's stack systems that do continue to the east, and we're certainly going to continue to explore those as we move forward. Currently we're drilling the deep section, which is probably at about 350 metres deep. We're intersecting, which shows continuous depth and along down dip of pegmatite 6, which is on the left. So we're looking to have some more resource updates in the future, and we'll show that the resource will continue to grow as we develop it. Just a few snapshots of what the Root project will look like as well. We do actually have a video at the end, but since we're running short with time, we might not get a chance to play it, but we'll see how we go with questions. But we are well advanced, I think, in concept engineering and understanding what we need to do and how we need to approach an environmentally friendly, sustainable operation out there at Root. One of the biggest advantages we do have in that area too is the Wattai power line, which runs through pretty much through the site, about 1 kilometre from the processing plant. So to have 132 kV of transmission that close to a processing facility it's amazing. So we are advancing towards production. We're not just here to drill a few holes, we're here to be part of the community and part of the ecosystem and to develop a supply chain in Ontario. We're here to partner with our Indigenous partners and ensure that economic benefit and social benefit can also be passed on and worked with in collaboration to the future. The Seymour project, we are advancing towards production. We've got multiple work streams at the moment. We will be looking at bringing in our joint venture partner and them potentially investing into the project as well. And we will be looking to financial investment decision next year. The conversion facility, we will be continuing the PFS, selecting our preferred location here in Thunder Bay. Obviously with a lot of community consultation as well. We're working quite closely with CDC and other groups in the area. And we will be confirming a production and a delivery strategy as part of that PFS in the not too distant future. And for our root project, we'll just continue to drill that out and establish a resource that will put us up there with certainly some of the biggest resources, well probably the second biggest, we are the second biggest resource in Ontario at the moment. And I don't think we'll overtake our friends to the north, but certainly we will have a resource that will be quite scalable, sizeable, and will be economic to develop our lithium conversion facility supply chain. So thank you for letting us speak. Pleasure to be here and happy to answer any questions.